Live from the part of YouTube that is only understandable through the assistance of chemicals, it is the Zankoku Tenshi Show, the show that is a harbinger for the end of Western civilization. And now, here is your host, the man who could be the only contestant in a talent competition and still manage to lose, Zankoku Tenshi!
Hello everybody in the internet. It is I, the man, the myth, the illusion of grandeur, Zankoku Tenshi. And oh my goodness, I am so ill prepared for this whole thing. I spent most of the day creating like the new waiting music and the new intro, and I didn't even set my camera to the right position yet. So I'm like, oh God. Oh God, it's horrible. It's ridiculous. I can't even come up with anything to to get myself in there, and I didn't even get my hat. So let me just mess up my hair, so that way I can go, look, I screwed up my hair. That's why I look all messed up. Anyways, it's the Zankoku Tenshi Show. Hello everybody. Hello everyone in the chat. Hello everyone in the universe. It is I, Zankoku Tenshi, and as always, I have my list of things that I'm talking about, which is actually only two things, because I don't have too much time here today because I've got stuff to do. Another one of those wonderful game nights. And hello, Pokemon Go Yo. Nice to see you in the chat. Like always with my show, you want to talk about something, go ahead and leave it in the chat there. Ask me any questions. I will try to answer the questions as long as they're completely ridiculous and inappropriate. So I had a busy week so far. As you may know, I was on vacation all this week, and it was pretty busy, pretty ridiculous. I did get some rest. I did get to watch a bunch of movies that I've been waiting to watch. I didn't get to play any video games that I were planning to play, so I'm a little bit disappointed with that. However, I did get to work a little bit on some videos. I found out that my video, because my new video editing software pretty much sucks. It sucks. I made the Alien Covenant review, and my goodness, it created a file that was gigantic. It took like a day and a half to upload to YouTube. So I don't know what I should do. I mean, it was a complex file because it had video within video within video, so I don't know if that had anything to do with it. But we'll see. I'm still working on my That's Fucked Up episode 12. Or is it episode 11? No, it's episode 11. And hopefully it doesn't produce a 40 gigabyte file that takes a week to upload to YouTube nonstop. Oh, that would be just horrific. That would be like the end of the universe for me. Anyways, also YouTube has been really acting up on me. I haven't noticed it with any of the other streaming services like Netflix or other services, but YouTube has been off and on, just slowing down. So I don't know what's up. I've done speed tests. Everything comes out all right. So I don't know. Maybe YouTube's finally pushing me out of their platform the only way they know how, and that's by capping my bandwidth. Oh. Well, anyways, so let's get to the first topic. And the first topic today was something I wasn't originally going to talk about, but I am going to because I find it hilarious, and also goes to show you how popular the media is here in America. So in Montana, they had a special election for Congress, I believe, and it like a couple days before, the day before, no, it was a couple days before, the leading candidate was asked some questions. Oh wait, Pokemon Go Yo asks if you can sub me, please. honestly, you should check your subscribers because I believe I am one of those subscribers. So go ahead and check your subscriptions, and you'll probably show me there, unless for some reason I keep my subscriptions secret. That might keep it from showing up, but I'm definitely subscribed to you. Uh, so, anyways, um, so he was asked some questions by this reporter, and he like literally grabbed him by the throat and body slammed the reporter, breaking his glasses. And everyone, heard about this, and it's like, oh my God, it's the end of his career. It's this guy just assaulted a person. He is just it's over. It's over. I mean, how do you like get back from there? But apparently he still won by like 7 percentage points, which is ridiculous. Which goes to show how much people, especially in Middle America, hates the media and distrusts the media, and I can kind of agree with that. The media has been completely awful in the last several years. It has been. It's horrible. They pick and choose what they want and think is newsworthy, and they ignore things that are probably important. And it's all about pushing agendas. Whether it's a conservative right-wing agenda on Fox or a liberal left-wing agenda on MSNBC or CNN, which seems like they just want to piss off everyone. It's just a big joke. So I just thought it was funny to talk about a politician can actually body slam a reporter, assault a reporter, and still get elected by a pretty big margin. That's ridiculous. I mean, maybe we're going back to like time is cyclical and whatnot. So maybe we're going back to the day where we had the real politics, where like politicians would get into fist fights with each other. They would have duels with guns, and they would say mean, nasty things. I mean, like really, like saying like your daughter's going to be sold into sexual slavery if X candidate makes it to office. I mean, that kind of mudslinging was like huge back in like the 1800s. But anyway, so I thought I said that because it's funny. It's funny to me anyway. So moving on to basically the one and only topic that I was going to talk about here before my guests arrive for another wonderful game night where we play the most nerdy, geeky board games imaginable, and I happen to figure out a way to win all of them. I know last week's, or not last week's, it's every other week. Last game night, man, I backdoored into the win. And at the end of the night, I'm like, hey, I won everything, didn't I? Holy crap, how is that possible? Anyways, so Pokemon Go Yo asks, do I like wrestling or do I like Naruto? Does it have to be either or? Can I say I dislike both of them? I mean, I don't like Naruto. Never got into it. Actually, I make a joke about the ninja aspect of that show being... well, anyways, I'm not going to get into that. But wrestling, I used to watch wrestling a lot when I was younger, like really younger. Like when I was in my teens, and maybe a little bit when I was in my 20s. And wrestling is interesting because it is like adult male soap operas. That's basically what it is. Well, not maybe adult male, but it's male soap opera. And so, yeah, I used to watch it, but I can't anymore. It's been a long time since I really seriously watched wrestling. I know there was a time that a friend of mine won some tickets to, like, I think it was back when it was called Raw on Monday nights. And so we got some tickets to that show, and we were up in the nosebleeds and could hardly see what was going on. And it was so... We were just there to mock the whole stuff at that point because we were, no longer fans. But yeah, you had free tickets, go out, have some fun with it, right? So, anyways, I'm glad that you agree that I can dislike both. I mean, I'm not saying that they're horrible, and I'm not saying that people who watch those things are bad. No, I'm just saying that that it's fine. It's fine. I just don't like it. It's just not for me. So, anyways, Pokemon Go-Yo has asked, have I ever played Grand Theft Auto? Yes, I have. I've played Grand Theft Auto Vice City and Grand Theft Auto 4. And actually, Grand Theft Auto 4 is part of what I'm going to talk about, which is my, for now, top 10 video games that I've ever played of all time. And it's not actually in any real order, but I wanted to talk about these because I'm sure that some of you may have wondered, what does he like to play? And outside of Call of Duty, everyone knows I like playing Call of Duty, but it's great stuff. I've got here a list. I know what my number one is overall, and we'll get to that, but we'll start off with, since you said, Grand Theft Auto 4. Grand Theft Auto 4. I haven't played Grand Theft Auto 5. Honestly, I don't know if I was just, I don't know if I have any interest in it because of the multiple character storyline thing. But I really enjoyed Grand Theft Auto 4. It was just like so much more than the other like Vice City that I played. I don't really like San Andreas because the fact that you had to do, if you ate too much, you became fat, and so you had to work out to like not get fat. And I'm like going, wait, that's more like real life. And if I want real life, I will just not play video games anymore because video games are like a fantasy. If I have to like do things to keep myself in shape in a video game, then forget it. I am out of that. Anyways, Pokemon Go asks if I have watched Red vs. Blue or Ruby. I saw maybe one episode of Ruby and went, however, I did watch Red vs. Blue for quite a while back in the day, back in the old day. I think he ended when, what was it? Halo 3 came out. When one of the characters got sent back to Doom, and the rest of them got to like Halo 3. It was like the future or something like that. And then I just kind of stopped watching and just didn't really go on with that. But I mean, I did find it like really funny, with like Sarge and like the ghost guy. The tank was like a woman or something like that. It's been a while, but I know that there was it was a pretty enjoyable show. But yeah, just didn't really continue watching it after that point when Halo 3 came out and they started using the Halo 3 for their machinima. So yeah, I mean I enjoyed them when I did. Like Monopoly or like the board game? You know what? I like it's been so long that I probably miss like almost everything, like reference wise to Red versus Blue. But yeah, I mean, like if I were to watch it again, I would be like, oh yeah, you're right. So yeah, I mean, you can drop those references, and I probably will miss 90% of them. Yeah. So, but going back to Grand Theft Auto 4, I thought, especially coming from Vice City, it was such a leap and a jump, and I thought the story was great, the things that you could do was great with it. The fact that you drank, you got drunk, and then you tried driving, and it was like a mess. I mean, driving in that game was a mess anyways, but the multiplayer was fun because a bunch of my friends and I, we would play just the waiting, like before actually going into a game, you just had like this sandbox where you and your friends could just mess around, and we made our own games in that area. Like there would have been like one guy, it would be like hide and seek, or one guy would just try to kill us all, and we'd run away and hide in different spots. It was just such great fun playing the game and having that like a multiplayer hub that you can just play with friends. I mean, sometimes I get a friend and all we would do is just like find creative ways of mowing down innocent civilians. I guess like people walking on the street and stuff like that, driving like maniacs, trying to hit all the jumps. And so it was one of those things where you could just screw around for hours and hours and have fun. And not even like worry about the story or messing up anything, or So that was a great game and provided hours and hours of fun. Though I never owned it, it was actually my sister-in-law's game, and I borrowed it quite extensively, and then she sold it, and I feel bad, but it's been a while, so I don't know if I'm going to actually like pick up a copy, especially since I don't think it's backwards compatible. So that would be, at least I don't think it is. If it is, maybe if I find it on the cheap, I'll pick it up and start playing again. But anyways, so moving on from Grand Theft Auto, and so I'm going on to another one is Tetris. Now, a lot of people go like, Tetris? Well, why Tetris? Well, Tetris is another game that you can play, and it is like real. It's just fun. It's a puzzle game that you can play for hours and hours, or it's a puzzle game that you can play for 20 minutes. Have some fun. It's quick. It's easy. I remember playing it on at school computers, playing it on the old Nintendo, playing it on Xbox, just playing it like whenever you had some free time and you wanted to play like a quick game. Tetris was always there, and it was always fun, and it was always challenging. And honestly, it's one of those games that's because its simplicity allows you to just have fun without having to worry about complex controls and movement sex and worrying about AI and things like that. And yeah, so it was a lot of fun, and still is to this day. So that's why it's got to be in the top 10. Pokemon Go Yo says, "What is the first game console you ever owned?" Well, first I'll tell you what the first game console I ever played was the Magnavox Odyssey 2. So, but the first console my family owned was what was it? It was the Atari 2600, the old-fashioned wood grain console without a pause button. And my God, any of you guys, this is not even debatable. The greatest innovation in all of video game history is the pause button. And you youngins out there just don't know. Just how horrific life was without a pause button. If you had to go to the bathroom, you basically lost the game. And I remember in the Atari 2600 days, there was this game called Tutankhamun, and I was seriously into that game. And I had been like 4, or maybe 3 or 4 years old, maybe 5 years old. I was pretty sure I was 4. I'd play that game all the time, and it was an adventure game, kind of like Indiana Jones. You're going through the pyramids, you're finding ancient artifacts, you're dodging snakes and all kinds of baddies and monsters and stuff like that. And so I remember as a kid, I was getting close to beating it. I mean, for us, it's called clearing back then, clearing the game, because you just go back to the beginning. So we was on the final level, and I think, I never got to that point. And I really had to go to the bathroom really bad. So, I mean, to show my younger self dedication to video games, because we didn't have a pause button, I pissed my pants. I literally just went while I was playing, and of course my parents were so mad at me, but it's like I needed to beat this level. And honestly, I think I did, and I was like so happy that I did it. But yeah, it's looking back at that now, I'm like, oh man, gee, that was just not cool. But man, when you're a kid, you have some messed up priorities, and you know, some wet underwear is not as bad as having to start over again on a game that you really want to do well in. So, but yeah, Atari 2600, first console ever owned, family owned. I guess the first console that I personally owned would have to be the TurboGrafx 16. Until then, everything was pretty much family purchased. The Super Nintendo, but yeah, like everything else, you know, the regular Nintendo, those were all family purchases. So TurboGrafx 16 was my first like purchase, my own. That was me and my own stuff. So, and that was a really cool one. I love that system. It has some great games, and it was easy to import Japanese games, especially for the CD system, because you didn't need anything special. You could just pop the disc in, and you can play them. The cartridges, yeah, a little bit different. The Hue cards, you did have to get an adapter because they were a little larger in Japan, I believe. So, yeah, I mean, the TurboGrafx 16, ever since then, yeah, I purchased everything that I owned from the Virtual Boy. I do own one of those. In fact, if you want to see it, I can show you it right now. If you want to see it, I'll go get it. Oh, here it is. Here it is, the Nintendo Virtual Boy right here. Look at that thing, huh? I still have the original box. It's a bit beat up, but here you got the game Red Alarm for the Virtual Boy. Still got the box. Still have the instructions and the inner piece in there. So I love that game too. That game was fun. That game was so fun, so very fun. And so here I've got the headset part right here, and I got a game that's still in there, and it's probably the tennis game. So I think I only own the two. So, is there like an eject button on this, I think? But anyways, I'm not gonna... You got the leg stand and the controller. The controller with the battery pack. And free Killer Instinct Player's Guide offer inside. Anyway, so yeah, that's crazy. You know, then going into PlayStation 2, Xbox. I actually modded my Xbox. Got a cool purple light, and now I'm getting a call from somebody. Let me find out what this is for a second here. Hello. Hey, what's up? Oh, okay. All right. No problem. Yeah. Pretty much, yeah. That's okay. Yep. Bye. Oh, bad news, everybody. Bad news. So apparently, game night has been canceled tonight. So I guess I can actually stream for longer, though I really didn't have anything planned for after I talk about the video games. So, but anyways, Virtual Boy. I actually modded my PlayStation also so I could play Japanese games. So that's real cool because I got this cool. What is this little? Here, hold on a second. Let me go grab that thing. I got the the Legend, the special edition of Legend of Mana. I don't know if you can see that. Camera is so bad. My $2 camera is so bad. Anyways, it comes with these, with this little music box. Comes with a little music box here, and I can. Not too much. I don't know if I'm gonna like ruin copyright with that, anything. But it comes with a couple figures, Pearl and Elazul, as well as the game. But it's really cool. The Square Millennium Collection, Legend of Mana, for the PlayStation. So. That's pretty neat there. So, anyways, so moving on from there, what game was I was talking about Tetris, right? So we're gonna move on to another game, and so like I said, in no particular order, we've got the original BioShock. The original BioShock was, first of all, it was a game that I thought, okay, it was going to be kind of like a horror shooter with a little bit of RPG elements, and I was completely surprised when I played the game. I mean, sure, it was a horror shooter with RPG elements, but had such a wonderful story, had really good mood. It did kind of scare me at times, and just the depth of the game, the fun of the gameplay, the lore, the storylines, the characters really got me. I mean, you were alone in this place, which is one of the things that also helps with the whole eeriness of it. But just I found myself just enthralled with the look and the aesthetic and the characters, and the gameplay was really fun. The whole like plasmid thing. I don't know if I don't know if I'm using the BioShock Infinite. No, those are Vigors. Well, the Big Daddies, like the whole thing, like, and plus you could use strategy in this game, which was really cool. Like I would get the ability, the little, was it the Rotten Tomato that you could throw on an enemy, and it would cause like the security bots to attack that enemy. So what I would do is, if I wanted to cheese a Big Daddy, after I got like the little chameleon thing, if you stay motionless, you become invisible basically. So I would camp myself by a vending machine where there is a a Big Daddy, and I would quickly throw the tomato at the Big Daddy, go invisible, hack the vending machine, fail on purpose so all the security bots show up, and the security bots would just attack the Big Daddy. And sure, you had to do that like a couple times, but it was like a real easy way of getting past the Big Daddy without having to risk yourself. So yeah, Pokemon Go. I like your profile pic. I am what I am. And Mana-sama, hello, Mana-sama. Yes, that is Higurashi no Nakukoroni. Yes, I believe that's Reina, all crazed and psychotic. And of course, up above are Mion and Shion. I love me some Higurashi no Nakukoroni. They need to make a sequel to Kaku because Outbreak. Come on, you just left it at a cliffhanger. But yes, it is. How are you doing, Mana-sama? Hopefully you're doing good. And I'm still waiting for that Zankoku Tenshi no Teizei song on Instagram. But don't worry. Oh my God, you're Japanese. Look, yeah, I mean, it's been I'm super out of practice with my Japanese. Um, so I go in and out of maybe somewhat good pronunciation to horrible pronunciation. So as I Higurashi no Nakukoro ni Kaku is the latest one that I saw. It was called, and it was like a movie that ended halfway through it. You didn't watch Higurashi? I am disappointed. I am disappointed. That is one of my favorite anime series because I'm a big horror fan, and sometimes horror in anime is pretty hard to find. So so I really enjoy it when I can, and Higurashi is like one of the best. Plus, it's just that whole plot line where the thing, like the sadistic Groundhog's Day, where things just keep repeating themselves. It was just tons of fun and messed up and great. So, but yeah. So yeah, that was so for any of you who don't know, both those pictures are from Higurashi no Nakukoro ni. If you check out my channel and go to the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror Lives Again, that playlist, I have a video dedicated to Higurashi no Nakukoro ni called Why I Love Higurashi no Nakukoro ni. I suggest you check it out so that you can understand why I really like that series, and it's a lot of great fun. And I put a lot of work into that video too. And so anyways, getting back. So what I was talking about a game, right? I was talking about BioShock, right? BioShock. And I'm starting to get a little bit warmed up here. I got my Friday the 13th Japanese shirt because it's Friday. It might not be the 13th, but hey, whatever. I love me some Jason. So yeah, so BioShock was a great fun game, and loved the story, loved playing through it. I found it challenging at times, but I like the fact that one that kind of ends up do 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 do. I can't sing it. I'm just not that good. But yeah, I just love that series, and I love the sort of spin-off, not a spin-off, but kind of related. Oh god, now I can't remember the name of it. So like, it's not like when the Higurashi cry, but when the seagulls cry. Umi Neko no Nakukoro ni. So that one's pretty cool for me. So, hey, look at that. I just lost all my viewers. Yay, I can talk about whatever I want. I could just sit back now and just do nothing. I lost all my viewers. I noticed that my streaming service said I dropped some frames. So maybe they all just disconnected or just hate me. I don't know. So I'm going to move on for anyone who's watching afterwards, because that's probably what's going to end up happening for most people. So we talked about BioShock. So I'm going to move on to the two Castlevania games that are on my list. One I consider to be like true old school Castlevania, and the other is the new Metroidvania one. So I guess you all probably already know which one I'm talking about when I talk about the Metroidvania one, because the original Metroidvania is still the best. Even though I love the Harmony of Despair, I love that game so much. It was so much fun playing that on the Xbox Live with my friends. But so yeah, we've got Castlevania Symphony of the Night. I noticed that I'm having some stream difficulties, and I wonder if that's really got something to do with the whole YouTube thing not working as well. Maybe getting around 5 o'clock, and the internet starting to fail me a bit. I don't know. I don't know if that's it. But yeah, it seems like the stream is having some issues. Not receiving enough video to maintain smooth streaming. Which means either I'm not connecting well to YouTube, or YouTube is downgrading my bandwidth to them again. I don't know. Like I said, I had a bear uploading my review of Alien Covenant. It took forever, so I don't know. But the speed tests show everything was working fine, internet speed-wise, so I don't know what's going on with that. So, sorry, bear with me. But, so moving on, Castlevania Symphony of the Night. A great game, great fun. Like the Metroidvania style of Castlevania is definitely a departure. And usually when you do a departure, it tends to be a bad thing because it kind of alienates the fan base a little bit. Like for instance, I loved Mario Brothers, and when they played Super Mario Brothers 2 on the Nintendo, even though we now know that that wasn't actually a Super Mario game. It was made into a Super Mario game for America, and it was a departure and kind of disappointing. But even more so would be The Legend of Zelda 2, Link's Adventure. That was almost a complete departure from the Legend of Zelda series, and therefore really just left a bad taste in gamers' mouths when that came out. And when I played it, I couldn't really get into it. I didn't know what was going on. This whole side-scrolling, and then you got the overworld, and it just didn't feel like The Legend of Zelda. And the same thing happened with Castlevania. You went from Castlevania to Simon's Quest, and that played a lot differently than the regular Castlevania. And I'm not faulting them for trying to do things differently, trying to do things well, or not well, but differently, trying to, expand the gameplay. But, you kind of almost have to be a little bit careful when doing sequels to not change things too much, because you could drive your core base away from the game. And I found that, like, when Mario and Zelda both went to 3D, I really didn't like playing them anymore. I mean, honestly, I think Ocarina of Time is the most overrated game ever in the history of games. It's the most overrated game. That game is not fun. I mean, there's fun to be had in it, but it's frustrating. It plays so much more differently than the regular Zelda. So, like, for me, coming from, like, regular Zelda, playing like A Link to the Past, which I think is the best Zelda game ever made, going on to Ocarina of Time, it didn't feel like Zelda. I mean, it was dark and dingy. It wasn't bright. It didn't pop. The freaking Navi whatever fly thing. Come on, hey, listen. I'm like, oh my god, And then the water temple. I mean, you can't have the best game of all time and then have like a whole entire dungeon be horrible. Like, you want to go through and you're going, yeah, let's play Ocarina of Time again. Oh wait, gotta play through the water temple again. You know what? Maybe I'm not going to play Ocarina of Time again. I didn't think, like when it came back out on the 3DS, people were all like, oh, right, I'm going to go at it again. And then they hit the water temple and they went, oh, yeah, this sucks. This is horrible. I hate this. This is not fun. I mean, if you have a complete, long-term, not fun area in your game, you failed. I'm sorry. But getting back, it was too much of a change for me. I mean, the games by themselves, if they weren't like a Legend of Zelda game, I guess it would be fine as a game of themselves. And I know now people have grown up with those games, and now that Legend of Zelda is mostly the 3D type games, and Super Mario now is 3D. They should have continued on with the main and then had these extra ones. I don't know. I just couldn't get into them. They just played way too differently, and to me, some of the fun of it and the gameplay just kind of got lost in the translation. But so going on, so Symphony of Night was a similar type of deal. They changed it from instead of being like the regular linear gameplay of the older Castlevania games, it was more like the gameplay of Simon's Quest, but a bit more involved with secrets and getting power-ups and armor and leveling up your character and things like that, and having like the wonderful reverse castle and all that stuff. But I think because it kept a lot of the core gameplay elements and the mood and the design, instead of like going like completely 3D and doing something like that, could have probably killed the series right then and there. Because let's be honest, the 3D Castlevania games are not that great. They aren't. I mean, Lords of Shadow, okay, a little bit fun, but just, it's more of like a bad God of War clone at that point than anything. But so this was a big risk, but having it being the sequel to Dracula X really helped it out, and having those connections and having you be able to play as Richter was really cool, and it was just a lot of fun, and probably the best, or one of the best Castlevania soundtracks of all time. Just really, really cool. Love the soundtrack. I mean, like the Dance of Pails is just probably one of my favorite songs of all time. It's just great. It's wonderful. And so it's fun, and I've picked it up on Xbox Live Arcade on the 360, and it was backwards compatible, so I got it on the Xbox One. Plus, I do have the original for my PlayStation. So it's a lot of fun, cool time, getting that Chrysogrim, chopping up people. So really cool. So you got Symphony of the Night, and so now going up to the other Castlevania that's in my list. And that is, I get to speak some more Japanese. So, Akumajo Densetsu Dracula X Rondo, or Chino Rondo. Rondo of Blood, Dracula X for the PC engine. I was about to say PlayStation engine, I don't know why, but for the PC engine, the turbo graphics, the awesome... Like, the minute I popped that disc into the machine and the Konami logo came up, and all of a sudden you get that German language opening, and then, sacrificing the naked woman on the coffin and Dracula rising from the grave, I was just like, wow, this is awesome. And from there, it was just awesomeness all the way through. It's got an awesome soundtrack, probably my favorite rendition of Vampire Killer, because it's got that funky bass line in the middle, which is from another song that they put in there. So they put in a call to another song, classic song, and had it in there, and it was just really, boom, 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 boom. I can't do it justice. I mean, just look up the song. It's really cool, but also the fact that it had, the classic first stage going on in there, and you had the battle before you fought Shaft. You had to fight the old time monsters, and they had the old boss battle music in the background while you're doing it. It was cool. So you're playing like the Mummy, Medusa. You're fighting against Frankenstein. And of course the gigantic bat. So that stuff was like really cool. Plus the fact that like you had the branching paths. You could like normally you have a pit. You fall into a pit. It's death. And so sometimes and you didn't even know this when you're playing it. And all of a sudden you get knocked into a pit. You're like, oh shoot, I'm dead. And then you find out you drop to like a different section. You're like, whoa, what's this? Or you break a wall, and instead of it just hiding like wall meat, wall chicken, best chicken, you get to like another area, and you find out you get to battle an alternate boss. You have an alternate path, and those paths can go back to the regular path. And along the way, you can rescue, I believe, 4 characters. I think it's 3 or 4 characters. Maria, your girlfriend, some nun person. Anyways, and the thing is, like, when you rescue Maria, then you can play as Maria, and her weapon set changes, and she's got her own special moves. And the game was just it was the pure Castlevania gameplay with all these awesome little secrets and like the anime cutscenes, wonderful, and just all that great stuff combines into the what is, like, for me, the quintessential old school Castlevania experience right there. That just it's just awesome. It's great. I loved it. Every minute of it. The music, the epic boss battles, like you're fighting death on the mast of this gigantic on the mast of this gigantic ship, and he's like in the background, and he's like throwing skulls at you, and you hit him enough times, and he like basically like, okay, it's time to not mess around, and he gets his scythe out, and he like tears off his cloak, and he's like ninja scythe master, and just awesomeness. And of course you kill him, and his scythe flies out of his hand and cuts his head off, and blood starts pouring out. Just wonderful. Yeah. So I mean, just like this was the total package, and it was a travesty that never really got to America until Dracula X Chronicles on the PSP. I mean that was, I don't know. I mean, Konami makes some pretty piss poor decisions, but that one was like completely stupid. I mean, they could have brought it to the United States for the Turbo Duo. They could have made a Sega CD version of the game. Then, of course, what they did with Vampire's Kiss for the Super Nintendo was just, I mean, it's a fine game by itself, but it's no replacement for the true Dracula X Rondo of Blood. No, it wasn't. And so, I mean, a lot of people, I mean, missed out on probably just a super awesome gaming experience in Castlevania. I mean, it gave us the item crash, and the item crash was awesome. Like for the cross, you just had the crosses going up there, and when you were battling the old school bosses before you fight Shaft, like there's a huge pentagram is in the middle of the room, and it would spin and it was basically summoning these demonic entities. So I mean, it was some really cool visuals, and I guess perhaps they, with rating boards, they would have had some trouble getting it into the United States. I don't know. I mean, but still, this is post. Hey, isn't this post Mortal Kombat days? So rated M. Oh no. I mean, T. I mean, what? You can't handle some crosses and some pentagrams and some heads getting chopped off and blood flying out of them, and things like that. I guess you can't. I don't know. Whatever. But that game just exudes awesomeness. So Dracula X, Akumajo Densetsu, Dracula X, Chino Rondo. Awesome. So moving on. I gotta talk about Final Fantasy, and even though my most played Final Fantasy is Final Fantasy 1. I've played that maybe like a billion hours. I mean, I'm not lying. I'm from the future, and I came back in time to do this video, to do this live stream, and so yeah, I've I've played it a billion years, a billion hours. But Final Fantasy VII, unfortunately for all the haters out there, Final Fantasy VII is my favorite of the Final Fantasies, and probably my favorite role-playing game of all time. Just the storyline, the turn-based gameplay was awesome. The epicness of starting off in the big city and then moving out into the world and having like the meteor and Sephiroth and the emotion behind when, I mean, spoiler alert, when Aerith gets killed. My God, if you haven't known about that, then shoot, man, welcome to the internet, people. But you just like, and her theme. Every time I hear that theme too, when it's like, I get a little teary eyed. But you get that scene where she gets killed, and then you have to fight Genova Life, or yeah, I think it's Life. At that, it's like you're so drained, you're so out of it. You don't even want to pick up the controller and fight this boss. You just, I mean, when a game can do that, when a game can like literally impact you emotionally and that level, that's saying something, and that doesn't really happen all that often. To where you're emotionally invested in these characters, and we're not even talking about like an NPC. We're talking about a playable character that you've lovingly took time to level up and be part of your party and be an integral part of your plans for playing this game, and then have that just taken from you. And you felt so out of control. It was a monumental moment in gaming. It was just earth-shattering. I mean, that moment alone probably does it, but everything else, from the fact that you could play the weapons, and they were freaking ridiculous. Challenge-wise, you're grinding your materia. You've got your different weapons that do different things with your materia and things like that. Just the depth, the fun was just really great. And I played that game after I played Final Fantasy III, which is technically Final Fantasy VI, and that game was awesome also. But just, I mean, it just was such a leap from Final Fantasy VI, which, I mean, probably does have a better story overall, but just the whole package of Final Fantasy VII just blew it out. I mean, this is the reason I bought the PlayStation, was to play that game, and I was not disappointed, and played it a lot, and I was kind of looking forward to the remake, but gee, it just seems like Square is just gonna fuck it up. Seems like that. Episodic? I mean, just what are you thinking? I don't know. Anyways, so there, Final Fantasy VII. Like, I know there's a bunch of people who just don't like Final Fantasy VII because a lot of people like Final Fantasy VII. And you know what? First of all, shame on you. You should not like something just because other people like it. You can find it to be overrated. You can find it to be not the best. But you shouldn't have your opinion on something be forged by the fact that other people like it more than you think it should be liked. Just because I don't like something and I think it's overrated doesn't mean, it's the worst thing ever and should not exist. So, so don't be like a hater just because I like Final Fantasy VII more than all the other Final Fantasy games. Just accept it as, hey, this guy, he likes it. I disagree, but whatever. Let's move on. So, I'm not going to get too much into the discussion on Final Fantasy VII, but it's definitely awesome. Moving on, I'm going to talk about Fallout 3. So Fallout 3 was the first Fallout game I played. I do have Fallout 4, but I haven't gotten a lot of time to go into it. So right now Fallout 3 is the thing. I didn't play New Vegas that much because I just didn't like it. And so I know there are a lot of people go, New Vegas is better. Well, you know what? I didn't think so. But Fallout 3 was one of those games that I bought. It was on sale. I didn't really think, it was going to be like super awesome, but like one of my coworkers talking about all the fun that he was having within was really great. So I thought I'd give it a go, and I fell in love with it, and it was just awesomeness ever since. It's like one of the few times that I bought like super large amounts of DLC for a game was Fallout 3. I bought all the DLC. I loved all of it except maybe Spaceship Zeta. I think that was the name of it. That one was kind of hard to get through, but everything else like Point Pleasant, Operation Anchorage. Actually, I really liked Operation Anchorage because it was a departure from what you were doing because it wasn't like normal Fallout. It was more like a first-person shooter action game or a stealth action game because you could get you could do some stealth things to like sneak into like the base, but like toward the end it was just like a cool action game, and I thought that was a great gameplay departure from the regular game, and so having that DLC in there really added to the fun and the experience, and it gave you a nice little break from the regular Fallout experience. So that was really cool. What was it? The Pit. The Pit was pretty fun. So like everything, like just the thing that really like holds Fallout 3 back for me though is that you got the level cap, which is stupid. This is not a multiplayer game. You should not have a level cap. You should be able to level your characters up to level 1 billion and become super ultra gods of the wastes. That's what I wanted to be. I mean, shit, my character at the end was still like the god of the waste. I mean, AP, infinite AP, just going through everything. But I would have loved to be like super god, even more so. But future thing developers, don't put a level cap. Let us grind it to like a level billion. Come on, do what Disgaea does. Let us get to level 1 million, right? Let us do like 999 billion points of damage. Like, just have it so we're so powerful. You just have to look at the enemy, and the enemy turns into dust, like you shot them with the alien blaster. Or you look at them long enough, they turn into goo, right? But just the gameplay was so fun, and I really didn't really care about the story all that much. I just really cared about wandering the wastes and finding these strange places and these strange peoples. It was living in that post-apocalyptic landscape and just surviving and becoming like super powerful. And then the thing is, like, you do your evil run where you're just a total dick to everyone, and then you do your your good run where you're just Mr. Goody Two Shoes and everything. So I mean, just replayability and the fact that the expansions were worth the money, which is something that sometimes it doesn't really happen. Like, you buy DLC and you're like, this just wasn't worth the money for the DLC. I mean, this thing, the DLC, what was great is the DLC added to the experience, added to the gameplay, and still added to the base gameplay, because you had, when you go back into the regular area, you didn't have to throw away all your weapons from the DLC and stuff like that, and your gear, and your experience, and your new perks, and all that stuff. So yes, it definitely enhanced the gameplay experience, and I thought it was a very, very, very awesome game. And it led to the popularity of New Vegas because everyone loved Fallout 3. Well, not everyone, but a lot of people loved Fallout 3. Let them play New Vegas. Once again, I didn't care for New Vegas because they kind of nerfed some of the abilities, and that didn't sit too well with me. And then, moving on to Fallout 4 becoming popular was all because of that. If Fallout 3 was a mediocre game, none of that would have happened. And so Fallout 3 is definitely an awesome game, and it fits well in my top 10. So, man, I'm getting close to the end here, aren't I? So yeah, I think I've got 3 games left. Wow, 3 games left. So should I kind of should I go review what I've said earlier, or should I just go on? Don't be shy in the chat. Answer the question, right? Should I review them? Should I go back on? Continue on. No one's gonna say anything. No one's gonna say anything. Okay, well, anyways. So I'm just gonna move on. So this one is gonna piss off some people because, once again, here's the thing that a lot of people like, and because a lot of people like it, they hate it, and then they have like these ideas that like there's only like so much popularity to go around, and because this has got so much popularity, that means the thing that I really like doesn't get as much popularity, because if that didn't exist, all that popularity would naturally go to the thing I like, which is completely bullshit, and you're ridiculous for thinking that. Just because if the thing you like was going to be as popular as you think it was going to be, it would already be as popular as you think it was going to be. I mean, just because you like it doesn't mean it's going to be popular. Look, I like heavy metal music. I think it's awesome. Does that mean it's popular? No. Do I think it deserves more popularity? Yeah, I do. But is it going to, like, if, for instance, all pop music disappeared, is heavy metal going to, like, be the dominating the charts? No, it's not, because it's not for everyone. It's different. It's not. So, the same thing for a lot of things like horror movies. Horror movies are pretty popular, but they're not going to win Oscars. Not usually. And you can take away all the crappy dramas in the world, and they still aren't going to win Oscars. So anyway, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2 is one of the best games of all time and the best Call of Duty game ever made. And if you disagree with me, I respect your opinion, but also think that you are a moron. Because you're wrong. Because what is the essential for gaming? The essential for gaming. That is fun. And this game was fun, is fun, still fun. I still go back and play this game because it is super fun. No matter even the ridiculous, even when you get pissed off at the game, you're still playing it. Why? Because it's fun. It's super fun. You get your ass handed to you, and you like toss your controller across the room, and it smashes in a couple million pieces. You frantically find your backup controller. Why? Because you want to keep playing. And that's why it's awesome. Sure, okay, I can understand why some people would be like upset with, some of the ridiculousness, because there's a lot of ridiculousness, but the fact that it's Call of Duty 4 turned to 22. The old joke from This Is Spinal Tap, where it's like, well, our amps go to 11. 10 is usually the top number. And they're like, our amps go to 11. And it's like, why don't you just make 10 louder? But these go to 11. Anyways, so this cranks it up to 22. It's like way past 11. We're up to 22. Like everything, even the freaking bugs in that game were fun and awesome. It made you feel dirty. But like the whole javelin glitch was stupid, but hilarious. you play a game of headquarters with you just get the javelin out and you're holding the Semtex and someone just comes up to you and stabs you and then all of a sudden you just explode and everyone dies. I mean, it was the beginning of Dead Man's Hand, really. That was the beginning of Dead Man's Hand, but it was just hilarious. Your teammates would just be watching it. The kill cam, they're going, oh God, it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Boom! Oh, shit. And then when you're playing, you see someone with a javelin, you're like, okay, I am going to back up quite a bit before I shoot him. because you're like, there's some shenanigans going on. But, I mean, that was just one thing. I mean, first of all, the javelin itself was fun. You just do weird things. Like, you would just aim at a random spot in the map, and you would rain death upon unsuspecting people just walking by. And I guess that's one of the reasons why, some people dislike the game is because there is random in that game. You could just randomly die to a grenade. But that's all Call of Duty games. I mean, people can chuck grenades everywhere. You could just so happen to be unlucky enough to walk up to a grenade just as it's exploding and you have no chance. And they just got lucky. But, I mean, like the noob tubes, oh my God. Those, as frustrating as they could be, they were also fun as hell. Sometimes, someone pulls out the tube, you're like, okay, it's on. And then you just have tube wars. I mean, I remember playing on the one map. It was a DLC map. It was like the apartment complex with like the pool at the one end. And we were playing Search and Destroy, and round one, their team just launched a whole bunch of tubes and killed their whole team. And then it was like, yeah, it's on now. So we stopped playing Search and Destroy and played Artillery Barrage. The thing was, it was great because it was like a sub game at that point, because we were just launching artillery back and forth, and it was like dude, I could seriously sneak the bomb to the site because everyone's just launching things into the spawn, in and out of the spawns. So yeah, it was fun, and plus the tube was an instrument of justice for me. Playing, like, I'd play free-for-all just looking for people who were using tactical insertion so that they could get nukes. And so, like, the tube was an instrument of justice. It's like you have danger close, and you know where they're spawning. You just launch, like, tubes and javelins on them. And they just blow them to hell. It was always fun. Just ruining their boosting was so much fun. And, also it's like, you voted for the wrong map. Like, you don't vote for, let's say like you don't vote for something like Strike. And then we end up with Fuel. Well, guess what? You're getting tubed. That's what you get. That's what you get for voting down a good map. Like you voted down Terminal, and now we have to play something like Carnival. You're getting tubed, bitches. This whole lobby is getting tubed. I know it makes me a bad person, but whatever. It's like you're gonna vote down a good map and go to like a crap map because of that. Hey, you deserve to get messed with. Like, and I'll be honest, like the first nuke that I got was on Wasteland sniping. Yeah, sniping on Wasteland. I got my first nuke. You can call me a camping whatever as much as you want, but having the Barrett? Yeah, it was the Barrett 50 cal. I had picking people off, coming around corners, moving from one part of cover to another part of cover. So like when they come back to try to get me, they're looking in the wrong spot, and I just pick them off again. And then you get to the chopper gunner in Wasteland. If you can't get to that bunker or any of those buildings, you're just eaten alive by that chopper gunner. My goodness, it was fun. It was magical. And of course, I was so excited, I just threw the nuke up like immediately, which was such a noob move because I could have just continued on and got like 1,000,000 kills and maybe got the double nuke gameplay. I don't know, but like I said, everything was fun. The kill streaks were fun. The maps, for the most part, were fun. And just and it's playing the storyline on hard, running through those favelas, trying not to die. The Invasion USA and the EMP blast, just everything about that game was great and awesome, and I loved it. The Spec Op missions were fun and great. Like you get a friend and you just started playing these one-shot missions, and it was just there was so much to that game, and the depth to it outside of just the campaign and the regular multiplayer. Having the Spec Ops there really just an added level of enjoyment. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, that was the game. That's the game that they should make backwards compatible right now. I'd be playing it. I would say, screw you, YouTube. I'm playing some. You know what? YouTube wants to get rid of me. There you go. There you go. I'll be playing that hours upon hours. Yeah. So Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, definitely in my top 10 because this is super fun. I played that for billions of hours too. So we're moving on to the last two, and so the last two. So this one is, I don't know if you would call it controversial, but I think this was the last great, awesome 2D platforming Mario game, and that was Super Mario Brothers 3. And probably why I like it so much has to do with context also. So, coming off of Super Mario Bros. 2, which wasn't actually Super Mario Bros. 2, but it was in America, so that's what it is. It was a departure. The gameplay was a great departure. And when Super Mario Bros. 3 came out, it had all the right elements. It had the classic Mario Brothers gameplay with enough tweaks and new things that it didn't change the game completely, but added to the gameplay in such an enjoyable way. Like the levels had more personality, more depth. You had these awesome secrets, like the fact that you hold the shell and get down into the background of the game, and do like get your secret whistles and stuff like that. Like level 8 with the freaking airships and the ground tanks. Those levels were awesome. And just the whole thing, like the secret areas and certain maps and certain levels, the themes, the suits, like you're getting the Hammer Brothers suit, that was awesome. The Tanuki suit, ridiculously awesome. The Frog suit. I mean, everything had a place and everything was cool and had great uses and were neat. I mean, the fact that the Hammer Brothers suit, you could cover yourself. You kneel down and you can deflect things off the shell. I thought was like awesome. I mean, no, it didn't work for everything. I mean, you still got killed with bullet bills, but I think it deflected like fireballs. I could be misremembering that. Shoot, I gotta play that game again. Oh, so that's a problem. Is like my Nintendo is probably completely non-functional at this moment. But the game just was so much of a revolution, but still within that Mario gameplay, that I just like it was the greatest thing. When you got it, you were like, oh man. When I got Mario 3, it was like, oh, this is so awesome, and I played it. And when I was playing it, I was just like, oh, this is so awesome. It's so awesome. Going through it, just playing it multiple times. The music was such a advance from what we had before. The levels, the castles, the mini boss battles, the boss battles. It was Mario on steroids plus creativity. It was the greatest. And then when Super Mario World came out, I was completely disappointed because first of all, you got rid of the Tanuki suit. You Nintendo. Seriously, Nintendo. But I mean, I didn't like how the feather worked with the cape. I didn't like that. I didn't like Yoshi. The addition of Yoshi, I didn't like. And so, excuse me. So I was very disappointed when Super Mario World came out. And I was like, I wanted thing, and I'm sure part of it was based on Super Mario Brothers 3. That was still, a foundation. But I felt like it changed too much and added things that, for me, didn't feel like they fit as well. I mean, the graphics were great, and yes, the game was fun, but it just felt lacking in certain aspects in comparison to Super Mario Bros. 3. So that's why I put Super Mario Bros. 3 on the list, not Super Mario World, because the Super Mario World, yeah, it was a disappointment. It definitely was a disappointment coming off of Super Mario Bros. 3 when I thought that, if they would just do the same thing they did with Super Mario Bros. 3, but it just wasn't for me. So, but Super Mario Bros. 3 just lives on in my heart. It's so great. So, I mean, like, the music is playing in my mind right now as we speak. So, definitely Super Mario Bros. 3 on the top 10 list in no particular order. But let me go review what I've done so far before we get to the last one. So, we had Grand Theft Auto 4, we had Tetris, Symphony of the Night, Call of Duty Modern Warfare 2, Fallout 3, Final Fantasy 7. We had, the Rondo of Blood, Dracula X, the great Dracula X, Bioshock, and was it Final Fantasy 7? I think I said that. So coming down, Super Mario Bros. 3, of course. So coming down, and this, of course, I did leave for last because, in my opinion, this game is the best game I've ever played. It still is. It still awes me to this day how well it was put together, and also makes me angry at how developers have seemingly went backwards when it comes to games, because like when this game came out and the way things worked in this game, I just thought, like, oh my god, like, everything's just going to be so much better in the future. Games are going to be so much more awesome, and it's been kind of a letdown that some of the aspects that were introduced in this game were never really improved upon. And it just kind of annoys me, but that game is Resident Evil 4. Resident Evil 4, the greatest game ever made, bar none. And I know there's going to be a lot of people who are pissed off because Resident Evil 4 is a real Resident Evil game. I'm sorry, let me get a drink before I do this. There we go. Excuse me, but Resident Evil is not, like, Resident Evil 4 is not a real Resident Evil game because it totally abandoned its survival horror genre roots and was more of an action game. Well, you know what? Fuck you. I don't care, because the game is awesome. And I don't care if it strayed away from its survival horror roots. See, there was a point. Like, I loved Resident Evil on the PlayStation. I have that game. I get the director's cut, even though it's still censored, which still pisses me off to this day. Fuck game censorship. Fuck censorship altogether. But anyways, played that, loved it. Played Resident Evil 2. There was a point while playing Resident Evil 2 that I realized that this cannot continue. And that is the piss-poor tank controls and the static camera in weird camera angles. I ended up just getting way too frustrated, way too angry, and way too disinterested. In a way, I just stopped playing Resident Evil games because of this. Because it was fun while it lasted, but it eventually wore on me, the actual controls and the cameras. Because in intense situations, you need to be able to maneuver. You need to be able to see what you're aiming at, and too many times, trying to get away, trying to reposition yourself, just get yourself killed because the camera angle would switch out and you'd be all fucked up and don't know where you're pointing, where you're looking at, or you're trying to get off some quick shots and you're trying to stick and move and you just can't because you gotta turn your character, and it just wasn't working anymore. Especially with the fact that the enemies were getting a bit more sophisticated. You needed to be a bit more sophisticated in the control scheme. So, yeah, I completely skipped Resident Evil games after that. Resident Evil 3 Nemesis, Code Veronica, all that stuff. I couldn't do it anymore. I couldn't play the games. I actually liked the storylines, and I actually liked the atmosphere and everything, but I just couldn't play the games anymore because I just didn't like the controls anymore. So when Resident Evil 4 was announced and they were showing the gameplay and things like that, I was like, wow, this looks like, you have a lot more control. You don't have to worry about the crazy camera angles. And it's still horror based, and you still have, the, I guess, zombie-esque characters and whatnot. So, I get the game. I got it on the old purple lunchbox, the GameCube. Came in 2 discs. And I was amazed at the graphics. I mean, this GameCube game looked awesome. It looked amazing. And the sound design was great. It had the Dolby Digital Pro Logic too, so you could plug it into your stereo system and it creates that faux surround sound, which was awesome. And then I was wowed by the gameplay. I mean, the gameplay was awesome. It was everything. It was the breath of fresh air that the series needed for controls. And I got really excited about the possibility of them actually remaking the earlier Resident Evil games, but with this control scheme and this camera scheme. Unfortunately, it did not come to pass. I thought that was a very wasted opportunity Capcom had. I mean, they could have, it would have just worked so perfectly, but they didn't do that. So I'm disappointed with that. But just playing the game, the combat was challenging but not unfair, and the AI was ridiculous because you would aim at their head and sometimes they would just kind of swoop out of the way, and they would literally try to surround you. You would knock down ladders, they would pick them up, you'd try to barricade yourself in a house, they will try to go in through the windows and stuff like that. I mean, the way the AI worked was awesome. And then the fact that when you're firing at people, you shoot them in the leg, they hit their leg and they hurt, and they grab their leg. You shoot them in the face, they hold their head and things like that. If they've got a weapon, you can shoot the weapon out of their hand. If they throw something at you, you can shoot it out of the air. I mean, all these awesome game mechanics, and I feel like some of the newer games have, these are supposed to be like the newest, latest, greatest AAA games, and their AI isn't as smart as like this AI from, my God, it's probably like 90 something. No, well, 2000 something, not 90 something, 2000 something. It's been like over 10 years, or maybe almost like 15 years. It's been a long time. And you still don't seem to have AI as smart as that anymore, or even smarter. They haven't improved on that. You don't have, when you're hitting people, they're not, reacting to where you're hitting them. Things like shooting things out of midair, shooting weapons out of people's hands, stuff like that. You just don't see that as often in the newer games, and I just find it like confusing, because it's like you've got this great example of like how awesome things can be done, and yet it seems like games kind of regressed a bit from that point, which is confusing to me, and also kind of angering, because it's like you had this awesome game that did these awesome things, and you would think people would try to emulate that a little bit more and come up with innovative AI that does act like what people will do. They'll just come at you in a straight line. They'll try to trap you. They'll try to get you to funnel you into a certain area. They'll dodge your shots. They'll move to the side if they see you aiming the gun. They'll duck, things like that. But yeah. But getting back to the game itself, it was just like no part of that game felt boring. It was all compelling. And you're moving on from like the village to the castle. The castle was awesome. Castle was beautiful, ridiculous, and then you go to the island, and you have these like changes in scenery, so it kind of keeps it fresh. Even though I would say that the island's backgrounds and scenery probably weren't like the most aesthetically pleasing, but they did fit what was going on. And then you had like the ruins in the island, and it was just. You just had so much great stuff going on in that game, and then the storyline I thought was really cool, really fun. My sister-in-law would watch me play the game, and she would literally want me to play the game so that she could see what was going on with the story. Was it going to continue on? What's going to happen? Are you going to rescue Ashley? All that stuff. And then afterwards, the post-game content was amazing. That stuff nowadays would be considered DLC, and this was just stuff that was part of the original game. You had Operation Ada, and that was a fun added bonus missions, bonus game, bonus storyline. Then you had the mercenaries. Oh my goodness, that was fun. It was a game that was so fun. They actually made their own game out of it, but it was so great. Just all this oodles of content, and then of course playing the game over again and building up your funds to buy weapons like the Infinite Rocket Launcher or the Chicago Typewriter, and just having tons of fun there. I was working my way to getting the hand cannon, but sorry, someone has the GameCube now, and it's not me. But anyways, but that was it was just an example of doing things right and changing things up where it still had the puzzle gameplay. You still had the alone in the middle of an apocalypse, so you did get Ashley after a while, and they did AI escorting right. You had the ability to have her hide in like these box containers. When you would pull your weapon, she would immediately get behind you, and so you couldn't like accidentally shoot her. And the thing is, like the AI, when she was around, the AI wasn't just trying to kill you; they were also trying to kidnap Ashley, which is another, it's, well, I could say a little thing, but that nuance added to the gameplay, because they would try to grab her and drag her off, and then of course you would have to like shoot the guy so that he dropped her and not accidentally shoot her, because yeah, you could accidentally kill her at that point. But you know, she wasn't like you would say, like a liability. She wasn't stupid. She wasn't just running straight into death like in some other games that had like escort type missions or escort type content. So that was in a way another revolution in this game. And so and the little things too is like when you would like kill an enemy and she'd be behind you, you would see her like, oh yay, you know, shake her fist like, yeah, and things like that. Just these little things, like when she's like climbing up a ladder, if you look up the ladder, she's telling you like, hey, what you looking at, right? I mean, it's just these little things that just add to the total package. It shows the amount of care they put into this game. And it's sad that they haven't Pokemon Go-Yo, welcome back, saying, you still streaming? Wow, yes, I am still streaming. Unfortunately, game night has been canceled, so I actually had a lot more time to talk to everyone on the internet, and by everyone I mean just myself. But I've gotten through all my top 10 video games, and I'm finishing it off with Resident Evil 4 right now. Just a game that I played over and over again, like 50,000 times through. And I wish games would be more like that. I wish they would have AI that was a lot smarter, and they had, you know, the ability to realize that they're being aimed at and, like, you know, try to duck, get out, get into cover. To, you know, when you shoot them in the leg, they act, oh, my leg, you know, and they shoot them in the head, things like that, where they will actively go, like, look, we can't just go straight at them, we got to get around them, we got to try to force them into this area, things like that. But I don't know. I know there's still people who are just going to be butthurt because it's not Resident Evil. It needs the tank controls and be inside a claustrophobic space. I mean, there was claustrophobic spaces in that Resident Evil 4, but yeah, I mean, like, first of all, get over it. Tank control sucks. And Pokemon Go-Yo is eating bacon. Awesome. I love bacon. Bacon is great. Bacon is wonderful. I did answer that question. I guess you left before I answered that question there, Pokemon Go. Yes, I find your profile pic to be interesting. It is what it is. Because, you know, I am what I am. Anyways, no, it's a cool pic. It's a cool pic, but it's definitely better than mine. Mine is just like this ugly guy's face. I don't understand it. I don't know why I picked that. It's freaking crazy. But oh my god, hour and 38 minutes. An hour and 38 minutes. I probably should be leaving soon because I'm gonna have to get some dinner now. But thanks for saying it was a nice joke. I thought it was pretty cheesy, but sometimes cheese is good, right? Get some cheese with that bacon, right? Yeah, yummy. But yeah, it's oh man. So where I live, it's 6 p.m. So usually, you know, I got like some moment in time where I can just kind of talk to people and I don't really have to do anything and I don't have any pressure or not. So, but yeah, it's getting late. I'm gonna have to get some dinner, and then I got to think about like what I'm gonna do for tonight, since I'm not gonna be playing board games with a bunch of geeks and nerds. Maybe I'll play some of those video games that I was meaning to play all this week. Anyways, Where I am at, it's 2306. 2306. Man, my God, people using military time. What are you? I'm just kidding. So 2306. That's 1106 p.m. 1106 p.m. That is 5 hours. So are you in the United Kingdom then, huh? I mean, I probably could figure that because of your accent on your videos, but I'm guessing somewhere in the UK, judging on that time difference, right? Right? I don't even know if he's still listening, because I know that Mana-sama is from Turkey. Because when I did my my last live stream, which was it Saturday night, Sunday night? It was late night, and it was like 4 in the morning, and they were still up. So I'm like, wow, I'm rarely up at 4 in the morning. If I'm up at 4 in the morning, something bad happened. Like either I woke up somehow or I couldn't get to sleep. But I mean, unfortunately, I'm not a youngin' one. No, I actually live in Minnesota. You are a liar. It is not 1106 in Minnesota. Actually, it's like 506 in Minnesota. 506. 506 in Minnesota. Minnesota. You know, I used to be able to do that accent, you know. Yeah, but I don't think I can do that, you know. Don't you know? Don't you know? No, I can't do that accent anymore. The old Minnesota upper Midwest accent. The old Fargo, almost like a Canadian in a way accent. Well, actually, let's prove this. Right? So, you live in Minnesota. I know. Oh, see, see, you admitted it. Look at this. I got Reese's Pieces. But I was gonna say, okay, well, what city in Minnesota do you live in, huh? And then they'll say like, oh, Minneapolis. I'm like, oh, part of the Twin Cities. And I've been like, Twin Cities? Well, I don't know. Some people in the UK might know that Minneapolis and St. Paul, Minnesota are the Twin Cities. And that's why you have the baseball teams called the Minnesota Twins. Anyways, otherwise not too familiar with much other cities in Minnesota, actually. I've never been to Minnesota. I don't really care to go to Minnesota. No offense to Minnesotans. Excuse me. Your girlfriend is from Minnesota. That is cool. So what city from Minnesota is she from? And is she still living there? Are you having a long-distance relationship? Or did she move over to where you are? You seem kind of like a young guy. So I'd be surprised if she moved over. This might be more of like just like a long-distance thing maybe, right? But that's good for you. Good for you. Hopefully, if you're just communicating over the internet, hopefully you're not getting catfished. You always got to be careful on the internet. My God, I could tell you stories, but no. But good for you. Good for you. It's so does that mean you're like if she's still living in Minnesota? Does that mean you're planning on going to the great United States of America to take a tour of the land, or more of the other thing, like where she's just going to come over to where you are and take a tour of? You actually don't know what part of Minnesota she is in. Okay, so yeah, okay, so you've never actually met in real life, then, right? Which is, okay. I mean, but do you have like any kind of plans? I mean, like, look, like, I don't know how old you are. I don't know anything about like how this relationship is. But if you were tour. So if you're planning to come to the United States, it's a good thing, but just be careful, especially in Minnesota, because you could easily get lost. So if things go sideways, make sure you have like exit plans and exit strategies. And I'm not saying things are going to go sideways. I'm not trying to be negative. I just want to make sure that you're just prepared. I'm a pessimist. I try to prepare myself for the worst. But okay, so yeah, you haven't met in real life. Okay. Well, when you come to the States, just have a little, do a little research, have a little plan, especially if things go sideways. It's always good to be prepared. And at the time, you can also plan out, your itinerary and things to do, things to see. Minnesota is a little bit of a ways from where I live. So I don't know of any like real regional things that you could check out. You grew up disciplined, so you can take care of yourself. That is good. That is good. Good. Now, just trying to think of like things in Minnesota. I'm sure she'd have like a billion ideas for things for you to do. But I would suggest when you have the opportunity to tour the United States, you go through and check out several of the other states. Depending on what time of the year you go, certain areas will be better than other areas. But I mean, you should definitely check out. Florida. Florida is a great place. They've got lots of things that you can check out in Florida. Texas, the San Antonio area is really cool. You go to Dallas. That place is fine. I'd try to stay away from Southern California if I were you, but I mean, it can be all right. New York City is a place that I would. I mean, if you're used, and you're from the UK, so you're probably used to big cities and things like that. So you probably not. But New York is a bit of a mess, in my opinion. But it's fine if you have people who know what they're doing and where they're going. Going there without any idea or plan is kind of a scary proposition. But, that's fine. Washington, D.C. is always a great place to tour. A lot of American history in that area. But, each state has its wonderful, unique little things that, make it, stand out from the other states. Minnesota is the land of 1,000 lakes. You can go through and do wonderful nature tours through Minnesota. The place where I live, first of all, what was it? You're usually no more than 30 minutes away from a beach where I live. And we've got tons of shoreline where I live. We've got the sand dunes. The sand dunes. You go to the sand dunes in my state. You go over that first hill and you feel like you're in like the Sahara. It looks like that because you look around and all you see is sand. Just dunes upon dunes of sand. You go over another one, it's more sand. It's like, but it's not a desert because you've got like this big gigantic body of water. But check out your second channel called 21 Yol. 21 Yol? Y-O-L? 21 Yol. Interesting. Would have thought it would have been Yo with an exclamation point. Or is it supposed to be that it was just a typo? I don't know. I don't know, we got off on this thing about me trying to give travel advice, which is probably the worst thing. I would probably give you better travel advice if you were going to Japan than Minnesota, that's for sure, or other places in the United States. I know some really kick-ass places in Japan, that's for sure. But I know some kick-ass places where I live, but that would, United States is a gigantic place. I don't know, a lot of people, when I talk to people from Europe or Asia, especially when they come here, they don't realize how large it is because they think of it in the terms of a country. I mean, the Chinese people, they know because China's huge. But, I mean, I've got family that's from Eastern Europe. I've talked to, some of them when they've come over. I have talked to, exchange students when I was in college. And they just don't, they have an idea of like a country, like a country. And most of the time, the countries that they live in, they could visit all the places in the matter of like a day or two. And they don't get like that sense when they come to America. They have this idea in their mind that it's a country, so it's like a country like my country. I go from one side to the other. It takes me like a day, maybe 2 days tops to see a whole bunch of sites. So if I have a week, I can basically see the whole country. And that's like no, like a state is like a country generally in size. I mean, the United States is gigantic. It's huge. It is massive. Because when you more along the lines of the idea, like if you traveled throughout Europe, that's more like traveling through the United States. That type of size. If you were thinking about traveling, from Spain all the way to like Poland, that's kind of like, driving through the middle of the United States in a way. You're talking about that amount of land you've got to like cover through. So it's like going through a continent. So it's more like, I guess, Australian people would understand it a little bit more, except we have a little bit more going on in the central area than the outback in Australia. A little bit, just a little bit. Anyways, I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just rambling now, But is that true? Is it called 21 Yol, YOL? Because it doesn't seem right. But whatever, I can go check that out after I'm done streaming here. And my God, it's almost been 2 hours. So yeah, this has started out. Will you do daily videos one day? No. I will not do daily videos one day. I have no time, and honestly, like, no incentive to do daily videos. Like when I do daily videos during the 31 Nights of Halloween Horror, it is mentally and physically draining. And that's because I have a full-time job, because I can't make money on YouTube, because even before the whole YouTube ad apocalypse, I couldn't I couldn't monetize any of my videos because they weren't, they were not age appropriate or whatever, because the thing that would make my channel money is the That's Fucked Up series. That is the series that gets the views. If you look at my movie reviews, the reviews that get the views are, sort of like sex exploitation films, erotic horror, those ones, that contain lascivious stuff. Those are the ones that get the views. Unfortunately, those ones easily get demonetized even before the whole monetization thing happened, because they would be age restricted, and once you're age restricted, you're not able to be monetized. And because not having monetization is a big thing, because if you were able to make some money doing this, you can, take less time from your first job to invest into this. So for me, this is just sort of, fun hobby type of thing. And maybe in the future, get a little bit known and maybe can turn that into something. But as for on platform, there's just no career here anymore, really, and there never really was, not for me, anyways. So it's hard because if I wanted to do daily, I would have to cut back hard on other things that I would like to do, like watching the movies, playing video games, checking out TV shows, and I'd be really really busy and really really tired, and in a way I'm not really gaining anything at that point, and it becomes a job, but a job that I don't get paid at, and that becomes annoying. So the problem is I have to continue working my job, my full-time job, so that I can pay the bills and eat and live and get the all this stuff. And because of that, and I do want to have some sort of a life. I know it's sad, but so yeah, I just don't have the time to do daily. And I mean daily a daily stream is possible, but I don't really think I just run out of things to talk about, and I just don't have enough viewers. Honestly, I mean, just I love talking to you. I love talking to the people who do talk on the chat, but I just don't have enough viewers during a chat to make it entertaining for everyone. Because if I'm just sitting here talking about stuff or waiting for someone to say something. It's just it's boring, and it becomes boring, I think, for everyone. It becomes boring for the one person watching. It becomes boring for me, and having a one-sided conversation sometimes for 2 hours can be fun, but also can be a bit draining. So yeah, I mean, if for some reason my streams could consistently get 20 people, and a good portion of them are talking back and forth with me, with each other, and things like that. I mean, I could see it happening more. If I had another person that I could have a back and forth with on stream, that could change things a little bit too. I mean, I've always kind of wanted to do a sort of news opinion thing, and this is sort of what it is, because I would find things to talk about that happened during the week, and give my thoughts on there. But it would be really cool to have kind of a round table discussion with a bunch of people where we're firing back and forth our thoughts on certain things going on in the world of movies, video games, just life. But unfortunately, I just don't have the time, the opportunity, the friends or anything to do that as much as I want to. But yeah, I mean, I'm trying. I mean, the fact that I'm doing this weekly show is definitely an increase in productivity. Yeah, your 21 Yo channel is doing a stream. I don't know what I can do here. This is gonna mess things up horribly. I'm doing stuff. I'm doing stuff. I'm looking for your other channel. Do. See, what you should do on your channel there, Pokemon Yo-Yo. I just got that. I always thought it was just Yo, but I guess I was wrong. Is that you should have suggested channels, So you can just go to your streaming site. Or are you not streaming on YouTube? Are you like streaming on Twitch? Ugh. Hope if I spelled things right too, right? Alright, I think I see it. Everything's going like crazy now. I bet you. Everything's probably like grinding to a halt.
Hey guys, 21 y'all here. Today.
Yeah, I don't like. Are you? Yeah. No, PS4. PS4. Streaming on the PS4. Someone's like, "Oh man, I'll go check out your stream." I can't. I don't have a PS4. So I mean, I guess if it's like a Twitch channel, I guess I could. But I don't know. I don't know how. I mean, it could be like how Xbox has Beam, but they also have Twitch. I don't know. Anyways, thought I'd check that out for a second, but I guess I did see some videos, and apparently you did some stream a few hours ago, at least according to the video site. It was like Red Power Ranger. I don't know about that. Anyways, I don't know. I should probably end it, but well, just going back to the whole like daily thing. It's like there's no way I could make daily movie reviews outside of just me standing in front of my my collection, my movie collection, and doing stuff like that. But there's no way I could do the thing where I have all these clips that I got to edit, especially with my new video editing software. Oh God, oh man, why Microsoft? Why did you get rid of Windows Live Movie Maker? At least I knew how to use that. I don't know. I guess I just have to. Yes, I know it's a Power Ranger. I just don't know why it's a Power Ranger. But whatever. It's like no problem, no problem. Don't change it on my account. Anyways, yeah, I don't know. I don't know. I'm crazy like that, I guess. I mean, I just won't be able to make the kind of videos that I want to make. And yeah, it's just I just can't see myself doing. You don't have to change it, man. You don't have to change it. You don't have to change it. I was just saying, like, I thought I was thrown off by it. Just thrown off a little bit. Dude, no, what you need to do is change it to Rena here. Rena, right here. Her glowing eyes and her bloody knives. That's who you need to change it to. Right there. That's your face. That's your new avatar. Scary looking psychotic woman. She's cute too, man. She is cute. But there's a couple sayings. You never stick your pen in the company ink, and you never stick your dick in crazy. Words to live by. Words to live by. Anyways, I should end it. My God, it's been It's been over 2 hours. It's 6:30 now. So I am going to end it. You guys have fun out there in the universe land. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to me rant and whatever. Give me some company. How do you spell her name? Okay, so this one's going to be weird. Because if you're looking for images like on a search engine, I don't know if you just put in Reina, you probably need to put in Higurashi. So how you would spell her name is R-E-N-A. So R as in robot, E as in evil, N as in neutron bomb, and A as in awesome. So R-E-N-A. And then you could just put in Higurashi, which is Higurashi, or you could use her actual last name from the series, which is Ryugu, which is R-Y-U-U. It's a long U. G, and then U, also a long U, so W, I guess you could say. Not W as in, like, the letter W, but 2 U's, basically. So R-Y-U-U-G-U-U. And you can search for images. This image, if I got it years ago, I'm not sure where exactly I got it from, but I like it. It's awesome. And going through all this stuff. So anyways, I don't know if I could, let me see if I could do this. You see this right now. So so if you've seen this, hopefully you see this. R-E-N-A. Oops. All right. So I don't know if you see this scrolling across my face. But that's the name. So I'm not sure if you actually can see that, but that's how you would spell it. So let me see here. Oh yeah, it's showing up there. Okay, cool. My gosh, I'm doing all kinds of crazy things on stream now. Doing all kinds of crazy things on stream. So I'm pretty sure you got it now. So I'm going to remove that. So, Reina Ryugu. Oh God, I did the wrong one. I completely removed her. Anyways. Well, I'm going to have to redo that anyways. But that's it. I'm ending it. Once again, thanks everyone for watching. Check out, Excelsior. Excelsior. Anyways, check out my channel, subscribe, leave likes, stuff. Check out my videos. I know no one's going to ever do any of that stuff, but whatever. But I will check you guys out next time. And have a great day, night, evening, year, life, existence. All right. I will be seeing you later.